some of the stuff we do that may not be glorious, but I think some people want to know. What happened is one of my neighbors in here is having a addition put on his house, and I originally thought it was probably like a 20 by 20 or something like that. Well, come to find out it's like a 38 by 54, I guess. He called me one day and said, hey, the contractor that's doing a job probably going to save some money if he can just get rid of the material from the cellar hole. But again, even then when he called me, I didn't realize the addition he was putting on. He just said, are you interested in taking the gravel and stuff like that? I'm like, yeah. Well, then the guy came with the gravel and he goes, hey, he says the topsoil's got a lot of roots in it, but you know, we'll haul the stumps off. Are you interested in the topsoil? And again, I thought I was going to be getting like a triaxle load, and I come home from lunch that day and there's already 5 triaxle loads of mixed loam and stuff like that here. It's a little bit dirtier than I would normally like to see, but since it's helping out one of my neighbors, I don't really care. The gravel I got is awesome stuff. It's super clean. There's no root system in it. Everything they took off the top in the root system was in this, and there's some pretty good root system in this, but it's not a big deal. I've got to screen it now. It's in my way. Like I said, I was expecting to come home that day to like 1 load, not 5 or 6, and I believe the first day he hauled 5 loads in, and what's in it for loam that I'm going to get is real good stuff. And there's 1 or 2 loads that were kind of like what I'm going to call brown dirt, not necessarily loam, but it will be good to put into my manure pile. But I just want to show you, this is something we do some days. It's been so dry up here. I'm going to show you my equipment, the dust that's on this. It's just crazy. Like, you couldn't move. I've been wanting to screen it because originally it was barely enough room up here so I could even sneak through. He actually had a hard time getting turned around down in here with his dump truck. And but if you look at it, it's pretty dark for the most part. There's 1 load in the middle, like I said, that's got a lot of gravel, but not so much that I can't just, I'm going to screen it all. I think that load over there seems a lot cleaner. This corner load had a lot of root system in it. You can see the bucket of the loader. A little of everything in it. I've been finding pavers, but like I said, it's not too big of a deal. Out of 6 or 7 loads that he brought me, and it's a triaxle, and he's hauling it within my development, so I'm gonna guess I was getting like 22 plus yards every load. And I've already screened a lot of this a week or so ago. This is what I got left today. I just thought I'd take a quick, you know, maybe 15-minute video, kind of showcase like this screener I like keeping around. It's not making the best material, but that's going to be a good, I'll mix this in with my manure, and this is what I'll sell, is what I call garden soil. People that want to put a garden in that have no organic material at all, with the mixture of the manure. But I had to do a couple repair jobs since he dropped this off, and I've already gotten rid of like 3 or 4 loads of the loam from this, which is kind of cool. My pile, that seems to be about the only thing that was selling this year, was a little bit of gravel, a little bit of loam. Overall my deliveries are off, but this is what I ended up with a week or so ago. And like I said, I just set it here. This is the loam pile that I have. This is what I'm going to be selling, is a garden soil. And what I'm doing is I'm going to get ready to turn this pile into itself, get rid of that stuff that's growing. And a lot of people would question that, but that will burn itself right out. I'm going to turn that into the pile, bury it in the bottom. That will rot right out, and just, you won't even know that was ever there a year from now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make this shape a more uniform shape and cover it with a black plastic this year. And probably what's going to be here come fall is something I'm probably going to let burn itself out for a year anyways, once I mix the manure into it. And I think that will probably just stay covered next season for a year. Let it burn that weed system right out of it. And that seems to work. You cover a pile. I didn't do it this year, and you can tell by looking at it. Normally I don't have to because it sells quick enough. This year, I had a mountain here this year, and it didn't sell as much. Just money's tightening up a little bit in my area. But normally I run out of loam every year between what I'm doing for my business and selling it. So like I said, we're going to clean this up. I'm going to try to make it a tighter, taller pile, and then we'll cover it. And this will be the following season's stuff I can use. But I just want to take a shot this morning, and I'll show you. I'm going to just do some cleaning up, but I'll put the camera back on when I start feeding that. I don't like using my excavator. It's just like using it to do firewood. It doesn't make sense. What I'm doing this morning is just easier because it's such a root system in this, and I got to deal with it. I do have properties I work on once in a while where the people just want cheap fill. I could have just got rid of this and made a buck, but I mean, what's in the loom is good and dark, so I'm going to save it. And like I said, I think this corner 2 loads was I think it was the bottom of the pile, which was probably the first stuff they tore off the top. Just a nasty root system in it. A lot of pavers. I think once I get into this pile, and the stuff I screened so far wasn't that bad. I probably had like a 1-ton load of crap off the screener. This morning, I mean, I came up with this pile and that pile in about 10 minutes. So we'll clean this up and get going again, and I'll put the camera on. It's a good morning. Like I said, we got just enough rain last night so that this ain't a dust pit up here. Just want to show I'm into that pile where there's some pretty good loam. Like I said, this is going to be real nice stuff to mix in with the manure pile. I have to find a used version of this newer. This is an Easy Screen 500. They made a 600. They made a 550, then a 600. Now I think they make a 700. It's still made for this smaller equipment, but it's got a double screen, so it makes a real nice loom. And like I said, as I get older, that's kind of what I want to do, is just play around. I want to recycle a lot more material. Basically, there seems to be some pretty good money in it. Every 6 scoops of this tractor, I'm ending up with like 2 scoops of waste. A lot of rock and root system. I got an area right now, I'm putting it, and I believe it's going to be land that stays in the family. I told my daughter 20 years from now, dig it back up, you can probably rescreen it again. I actually know a gentleman in this town that did that. His father had a stump dump for years. He was a logging guy, but they used to get paid pretty good money to haul stumps off, so that as they dug a gravel pit out, they filled it. And now this second generation's digging that out, and it's actually a real good loom. But like I said, I don't normally, I wouldn't even haul this home from a job site of mine. I don't think it'd be worth moving it, but where it's here, like I said, I was expecting 1 load, and I come home and there was probably 7 in a matter of 2 days. Now it's down near the screen, I'm just dealing with it. But this stuff ain't bad. 2 of the piles, I'd say 2 of the 7 piles were dirty enough, so I wouldn't have messed with them if it weren't already down next to the screener. I just figured I'd show where we're at this point. I want to show too this stuff. The guy dug this out when it was pretty dry, and when it's dry, it pretty much falls. As far as loom goes, when you're screening this, even as dirty as this is, you'll notice what's coming off the end of that screen is pretty much rock, sticks, grass. You pretty much get all the loom out of it, even with all that crap in it. Now, if I waited for it to rain and this got muddy, you wouldn't get as much out of, the good material out of it. But I always do this. Like today was supposed to be a lot rainier than it was. It's a Friday. I didn't really want to go start any other work, so I'm doing this. Plus, it's in my way. The only thing that really plugs this thing up is if you got a lot of grass or like a matted root system. But I just thought I'd take a quick shot. I got other jobs to go to, but I'm just going to wait till Monday. And it's a Good Friday project. I'll probably have 3.5 hours by the time I get picked up. But I'm also doing a job in a couple weeks where I think I'm going to be hauling a lot of stuff in, where I'm going to need this room too. Like that right there is a real matted root system. Even that's going to shake off there by the time I go get the next bucket. Alright, I'm going to break for a coffee break. And just want to show that falls right through that pretty good. And like I said, this has got a lot of, I see some pine needles in it and a lot of little organics, but if I stick this into one of my new manure piles, let it sit a year, this is going to actually be a real good material to put in with that. But we're getting down through that pile slow but sure. I just thought I'd do a quick video. Like I said, even as nasty as this stuff is, it's going through there. So like if I was digging this out of a property, they knew they could get rid of it here, so they didn't get as fussy. If I knew I was digging that, if I was digging that out of one of my job sites, I would have cleaned it up. I would have hauled home a little bit cleaner. We're getting into that pile now where it's pretty much loam. There's not a lot of gravel mixed into it. This has got the pine needle stuff in it, so mixing it in with the manure, letting it burn out for a year, will help it. And knowing that this had some pine needles in it, I'll probably lime it pretty good if I do go to use it on like a lawn or something. I normally lime stuff anyways. I don't think it hurts. Just want to show, we got that pile of crap cleaned up. I had a place for all those tailings to go to, so that wasn't bad, but good pile of loam we got. That was good. And I did haul some of this off from that original pile, quite a bit of this off actually. And but that will, like I said, that's real good stuff to throw in with the manure this fall. This is all screened to 1 inch, so I do want to get, like I said, I want to pick up another one of these screeners. The newer style has the double screen. I mean, I did buy a brand new 2.5 inch screen for it. I think I'm gonna leave this one set up like this, and just for the most part, the stuff I bring home, it will make good 1.5 inch gravel. Trying to make gravel with that smaller screen. I'll show you over here. You end up like that, a lot of that stuff that I dig off the side of the road and I just bring home, run it through the screen, and get all the crap like leaves and stuff. It's good material that tends to get pushed into the ditch on these dirt roads. So pretty much that whole pile is just stuff I brought home, and it makes a real good base for like trail systems I do. If I'm doing a driveway and there's like no good material, I'll probably put down a foot of this, and then I put down 6 or 8 inches of processed gravel on top of this. But this just makes a good base. The dust is unbelievable. I got to bring that down and give it a cleaning this weekend. I cleaned it about a week ago. You'd never know by looking at it, but that's the dusty crap show we've had here for a while. Just some of the stuff we do some days. It's not always landscaping. This is part of the business though. This stuff here got brought in by somebody else. I had to deal with it. If I would have been here, I probably would have had him put it up top, and I would have just dealt with it a different way. But where he had it down here, I wasn't going to move it, so I screened it. Had a lot of crap in it. Like I said, I don't normally bring stuff home that dirty, but it worked. We ended up with some pretty good material. Like I said, I always show the stuff we do. A lot of people are like, hey, what do you do on rainy days? What do you do? This is what we do. It's supposed to be a lot rainier today than it was. I wish it was a little bit more rain so that it wouldn't have been so dusty again. But on the positive note of that is the stuff fell through this screener real easy because it wasn't wet and getting muddy. A lot of times if you get like a couple inches of rain in a day or so, what you have in those piles, you'll get to part of it and it'll turn shaking on this shaker will just make it in almost like a pudding. It doesn't want to drop through. So today worked out good, really, considering, other than I got to bring this down. And I put a filter in these machines like once a year, air filter. What's happened the last probably 8 or 10 weeks, it's been so dusty. I'm going to bring it down and I'll blow it out real good. They're just too pricey to put on every time they get dirty. And my big compressor that's in my back garage, you can blow that out and it cleans it right up good. A lot of people might argue that, but you can't put a filter in these every time one gets dusty. The inside filter, like this is most of your Kubota stuff, has an internal and an external filter. I do them both once a year. Sometimes I'll put the outside filter on twice a year, but again, I clean them 2 or 3 times before I do that. But anyways, I just thought I'd do this quick video. I said I have a lot of people asking me, I want to see everything you do. This is it. But anyways, if you like the content you're seeing, please like and subscribe. If you want to see other equipment run, I do have older videos with this screener running, and I think I've done some shorts with it, short videos. But today I'm just trying to show people, you take a machine like this brand new I want to say it was like 18.9 when someone bought it brand new. I bought it for substantially less than that. You do see used ones. I mean, I could make a phone call right now and probably sell this for 12,000. They hold their value pretty good. The material that I put through this in a year is impressive. Guys with the big machines. Another thing I like about this with the little Honda motor, I'm in a residential area somewhat. I mean, right now most people have already gone back to the city and left the camps that are up here. But I ran this today for probably 3.5 hours, and there's no complaints because it really doesn't make noise. And the shaker table really, it's hung on springs. So that's another good thing if you're in an area where you're worried about noise. Some of the bigger, like my buddy's got I want to say it's a Thompson screener. Pretty sure that's what it is. And that thing makes a racket. I mean, it makes a humming noise almost like a crushing plant does. If you can be a block away and you can hear that. This one here, no one. I asked my wife if it was bothering her, and because she didn't even know I was running it. So once the cooler weather gets here and people don't have the windows open, you can run this all day long. No one gets bothered by it. I have nothing bad to say about Easy Screen. All I've ever had is this one. This small 500 series. I do want to get one of the newer ones with the double screen, but I'd even buy another one of these if I could find it. And I want to leave this so that it's set up like this, and I want to get another one that I can take on the road. I thought about going through this one and taking it on the road, but I think it makes so much sense to just leave it here. There's a lot of times I take dirt off a job site, bring it here, clean it up, and bring it back and sell it to the same people I dug it off and got paid to dig off. It's a good thing, good tool. It's another reason I did this video. I want people to see these things, and you don't always have to be a big shot to make a buck. You know, I'm not a rich guy by no means, but I know how to make a buck. I'm in an area of New England that there's a lot of old school construction guys that have been in it for 40, 50 years, whatever it is. Some people don't like that small equipment. I'm liking it. That screener is probably one of the best pieces I've ever bought. This made me serious money. And like today, I got probably 3.5 hours in screening what was left there. I probably had 3 hours a week ago when I screened. I believe there was 7 rounded triaxle loads. So you're probably talking, each load was, I would say, 21 yards plus, because he was freighting it pretty good because he was just staying within the development. Like I said, you can process it. Today was just one of those days. It's Friday. I finished up a job yesterday, and I just had a week where I had enough of people. I wanted to I told my wife, I said, Friday, I think I'm just going to split some wood or screen that loom up. I'm at peace. Like, I really enjoyed doing what I did today. May seem weird to some people, but any day I can stay on my own land, not have people irritating me. I didn't make money physically today, but I made a lot of material that's sellable. So 3.5, 4 hours of my time today, a gallon of gas, running that screener, nothing broke, everything went good, knock on wood. So that gives me material to sell later on. So I still didn't lose money. It's something I did today that made me money. It's money in the bank, I guess you might say. But like I said, I like the small equipment. I do these videos to try to push that. A lot of young guys get in it and think, oh, I got to play with the big term in this part of New Hampshire. Like a lot of the guys that talk to me about doing, I'm going to be doing some more of those business talk videos too, because I got a bunch of young guys. Some of them are coming from a construction family, so they know how this stuff works, and they're getting help from their father or grandfather that helps them get going in business, helps them not learn things the hard way. There's other guys up here that just jump into it. I want to be this. I want to be a landscaper. I want to do this. And you hear the term come out of their mouth, oh, I want to play with the big boys. And then they talk to me, and I'm like, oh, you're better off just keeping the small equipment, keep stuff that you can afford to pay cash for, whatever you can. You stop playing with the big boys, and it's big money. Even my equipment, like my KX040, if you would have asked me 15 years ago, I would have told you that was out of reach of anything I would have ever been able to do. And as work went on, I've become a better businessman, I guess you'd say. Now I can have that equipment, and it doesn't affect me too much financially. I'm not going to get bleeding ulcers like I would have. The first 7 to 10 years I ran this business, to me,
it ain't for everybody. I just had a relative that got out of doing landscaping. He's worked for the same company for a long time. He went out on his own during this boom that's coming to an end right now, and he went back to work for the company he was working for all those years. They took him back. They knew he's a good guy, but basically what he found out is uh, he's a good worker, knows his stuff, but he's not a businessman. That's probably what it come down to. And I tell people that you can be the best construction worker in the world. That doesn't mean you can run a business. I learned a lot of things the hard way, and that's another reason I'm going to be doing these business talking ones that try to keep some people from learning things the hard way. I also, the next video coming up, I'm going to explain a little bit, like, some of the YouTube stuff's pretty fake, and I'm going to explain that to people. There's a lot of people that seem interested in seeing what I do every day. So, and I won't lie to you, it's something you got to give some thought to. If a guy wants to get into that screener, you could run with a small 18, 20 horse Kubota. A BX would probably run that if you had it on the ground. I got it up on a pedestal, but I believe you could run that with even a BX or a small John Deere tractor. But mostly a 20 horse, 25 horse tractors, definitely any skid steer. And that thing will make you some money. It's a big thing. I noticed, I do a lot of watching videos on YouTube, and like over in Europe, the screening and crushing plants, mini ones are real popular. But anyways, I'm going to keep doing these type videos. If you like them, let me know. If you don't think I should be doing them, let me know. I'd like to know. But like I said, most of the time people like when I show this other stuff I do, or a rainy day project. I just had a day. I didn't want to deal with people. I could have went and started another job today. I just want to relax this weekend and start Monday. I've actually got a job starting Monday. I've already got the okay on it. That's going to probably keep me tied up for a few weeks between the 2 or 3 projects I got going there. And we'll go from there. But anyways, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.